Welcome to this lecture where we'll talk about the new welcome screen in Photoshop and get you familiar with it. Each release of the Creative Cloud version will have a different image for this splash screen. That's how you can quickly recognize the version you're working on. After you've opened Photoshop CC 2017, you'll get the following layout, which is brand new and different to what you get in CS6. Let's do a quick overview. Starting from the bottom left, you have a search box that's directly connected to Adobe Stock. Through it, you can get lots of fantastic stock photo images, but note, all of them require an additional subscription. Let's search for nature. When you press enter, your browser will open up on stock.adobe.com and you'll already be logged in. From here, you can browse their immense gallery and choose any image you'd like. We'll talk more about that later on. Going back to Photoshop, the next tiles frequently change as they're tutorials for all sorts of projects. When you click on any one of them, you'll be sent to Adobe's website where you'll get various tutorials. That's great stuff for beginners. If you're interested in seeing more, just click on this Show All text and you'll be brought to a new screen. Okay, pretty easy to get. Press back and we're now on our initial screen. From here, it's now easier than ever to open up a project you've previously worked on. You can see them as thumbnails or as a list. I'd go with the first option because it's more likely you'll recognize your work based on these previews rather than their names. This is a simple change versus CS6 that makes a big difference. To the left, we can see we're on Recent Files, but we can also switch to CC Files. Here we can see various resources we've downloaded from the web, but that's not that interesting at this point. Let's go back and see what other things you need to know. The big action buttons are New and Open. We'll talk about creating a new project in a separate video because there's lots to be discussed, and the Open button is as straight as it can be. But say you're old school and you just want to see your regular Photoshop when you open it. How can you do that? Well, just press the Escape key and there you go. Now you have the standard Photoshop layout with no documents opened. If you don't want to press Escape every time you open the program, go to Edit, Preferences, General, and uncheck Show Start Workspace when no documents are open. This requires a program restart, so let's do that now. Give it a second to load. Okay, as you can see, we've skipped that screen. My advice? Leave it on because it helps you get back to a project much faster. Give me a moment while I enable it again. Another interesting upgrade I recommend you turn on is the new Open Window feature. In the past, when you've had an active document and you wanted to open up a file, we used File, Open, or we just hit Ctrl-O. This dialog appeared and you could browse around. Let's go to Edit, or the Photoshop tab if you're on a Mac, Preferences, General. Okay, from this window, we'll choose Show Recent Files Workspace when opening a file. This requires another restart, so let me close it and start it up again. Okay, now let's jump into any project. Say we're working on this one, right? If we now press Ctrl-O, you'll get a big panel on the right side with a list of project names, very similar to the initial startup screen. This is nice. It's not game-changing, but it's a cool feature. And of course, you can swap between the list and thumbnail view, and when you're done, just press the Close button on the left. The final change I want to address is a window you'll get when you open up a project. Here it is. The idea is, if you work on multiple devices or alongside a team of designers, Photoshop can help you by taking all your font formatting, colors, layer styles, and smart objects and putting them on the cloud. The advantage is you no longer have to upload your PSD file to Dropbox, Google Drive, or send it via email. Instead, you'll get all your relevant resources inside a library that automatically syncs between multiple devices. Let me click OK and you'll see a new window appear with all my assets. What's amazing is that it works across lots of Adobe products, so if you use Illustrator, for example, you can fire up the program. Now open the Libraries panel and you'll see all your resources. But say that's not for you. You don't want that annoying pop-up each time you open a new project. Well, it's easy. Let's go back to Photoshop. Let me open another project. This time I'll click on Don't Show Again. Now we won't be bothered by this pop-up ever again. You can still create a library and upload your assets to the cloud, but you'll have to do that from the Libraries panel. Finally, say you've changed your mind. You want to use that pop-up we just disabled. How can you get it back? Open your preferences yet again. Ctrl-K is its hotkey. From this window, click on Reset All Warning Dialogues. Press OK, and that's it. You'll now get that pop-up every time you open a new project. Great stuff, and that's the new 2017 Photoshop welcome screen. Overall, all these changes are good improvements, and I suggest you try and get used to them. Have fun!